I'm having visions.
Malignant is director James Wan's return to the genre that made him famous, horror. This time around, a woman, played by Annabelle Wallis, sees visions of brutal murders and deaths, while also experiencing unusual happenings in her personal life, such as noises and slams. Malignant is a fun, entertaining mess of a film. It's hard to believe that a director as reputable as James Wan was the mastermind behind it, although his visual style and use of atmosphere is present throughout. The main problem with Malignant is that of its genre and tone. This is a horror film. There are moments, particularly in the first half of the film, that confirm its horror genre. There are dark, creepy sequences in a silent, eerie house. It's very reminiscent of James Wan's work on the Conjuring movies, although less original and effective. The film is also a comedy, although much of its comedic elements seem to be accidental. The main reason these comedic elements arise is because of poor script and dialogue. Characters say things that do not seem real or believable. There are bizarre choices and decisions made that incite laughter and groans. For example, in typical horror fashion, one character goes to an abandoned, dilapidated hospital in the middle of a stormy night, and she parks her car 1 inch from the edge of the cliff. It's weird, it's riddled with cliches, and it's funny, but not in a good way. This is only one example too. There are dozens of other moments like this, and worse, throughout the film. Once the mystery surrounding the main antagonist is revealed, the story takes an odd left turn. The answers to the film's biggest questions are flat out stupid and leave more questions that remain unanswered. The whole premise of the film, once revealed, is so silly it's funny, but once again, it's unclear if this is intentional or not. The mix of horror and comedy, whether it's by choice or not, simply does not work. The horror is not scary or original enough to be effective, and the comedy is akin to that of a bad spoof film, making it unclear if it's deliberate, while at the same time cancelling out any of the horror's impact. The story, as already mentioned, does not help matters. The film does a good job of developing the background and history of characters, even if a lot of it is ridiculous. And the twists and turns are surprising, simply because they're so outlandish. There are also plot holes and story points that lack exploration. Certain character traits, for example, go completely unanswered, perhaps leaving room for a sequel. Luckily, the film does boast good, well choreographed and arranged action sequences. There's an extended chase sequence filled with atmospheric visuals and fast but comprehensible editing, and there are some good fight scenes towards the end. These elements do enhance the film a bit. In terms of characters and acting, pretty much everyone does a good job of what they are given. Annabelle Wallis is a likeable lead, often representing us, the audience, and what we are thinking at any given time. She knows just as much as we do, and she finds out the answers when we do. It's smart because it makes her much more relatable. The other characters are stereotypical and basic. There's a loving sister, a young cop, a quippy, geeky CSI, and a no-nonsense cop too. Again, the actors do a good job, but they're not given much to work with. Malignant is fun and it has entertaining moments, particularly when it ups the action. The horror is lacking and the comedy is odd and bizarre, and perhaps not even intentional. James Wan does a good job at developing atmosphere and making the film visually appealing, but the film cannot handle the many tones and genres going on at once.